Gang, welcome back to another edition of Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate you guys making a little bit of time to watch the video. Much appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about why the month of October is the toughest month of the year to catch bass, because out of all the months that we have, I think that October and maybe part of September is the most difficult time to catch bass, and I'm going to explain to you guys why that is. Maybe give you guys some tips and information that might help you catch a few more fish. Real quick, just want to remind everybody out there, if you haven't had a chance, please hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you don't miss any videos. We're getting real close to 90,000 subscribers. We ought to hit it probably in the next couple days. And when we hit 90,000, we got a big giveaway, big cases of Bridgeford Sweet Baby Ray beef jerky to the winners of that. All you have to do is subscribe. Guys, this stuff is absolutely the best jerky you'll ever eat. And the best thing about it, all American made, everything's produced, made here, all the beef comes from America. They support the sport, they support the sport of bass fishing. One of the greatest American companies there are out there. Bridgeford Beef Jerky, been around since the 1930s. So much appreciated. Okay guys, month of October here. You know, out of all the months of the year, like I said, I think that a lot of it depends on the part of the country that you're in, but obviously the best time of year to fish anywhere is in the springtime of the year, you know, sort of the pre-spawn in spring. And after that, it sort of just gets tougher, gradually gets tougher after the fish spawn. There's little windows that can get good sometimes depending upon the techniques in the early summer. But normally about June, fishing starts to get tougher in June, a little bit tougher in July, a little tougher in August, a little tougher in September. August is usually, I think, the toughest month. Now, the reason this is there's a couple different things. Normally, like this time of year, the thermocline's starting to break down. So once the thermocline starts to break down, depending upon the lake and the water clarity, it spreads the fish out a little bit more. They have more options to go as far as a lot of the different water column. And obviously, a lot of it depends on the type of lake as far as the clarity, because the clarity will dictate the depths that the fish use a lot in a lake. But for the most part, just to give you guys a gist of why it's so tough in October, is there's more options for the fish. The bait fish are scattered out. There's bait fish deep, there's bait fish shallow, there's bait fish on the surface, there's bait fish in the mid-depth zones. You still have some perch shallow, you got some perch deep, you got crawdads moving. Forage are doing a lot of different things. So the bass can really have an option to feed in a foot of water or in 60 foot of water, just depending upon your visibility. Also in October, not only do you have a lot of fish using shallow water, and especially depending upon the type of day, if you have a low light nasty day, it really activates and gets those fish to move shallow in October as that water temperature is dropping. But you have some fish that use the deeper water in a diversity of depths. Let's say, for example, at Table Rock Lake, tomorrow, or actually today when you see this video, I've got an on-the-water lesson at Table Rock. And literally, you'll be able to catch fish in 1 foot to 60 foot of water. Because let's just take an example. If you have a lake that has like 4 foot of clarity in it, 3 to 4 foot of clarity, maybe 5 foot of clarity, if you get out on a main lake point, you may have a few bass using the bank of that point, like in less than 3 foot of water. You may have some fish out in 10 to 15 feet of water. You may have some fish out in 25 to 30 feet of water on the bottom. And then if it's real clear, you may have some fish down to 50 or 60 feet on the bottom because the thermoclines broke up and the oxygen starts to get a little bit better down there. Also, on that same point, you will have some fish that are suspended. You may have some bass that are suspended over 25 or 30 foot of water. If you've got submerged timber. Okay guys, sorry if the video got cut off there a little bit. Right in the middle of the video, Elijah ran out the door. He just got out of the shower and he's naked, so I didn't know if there was anything there that shouldn't be seen, so I had to cut part of the video out. So anyway, I'll get back to it on the points we're talking about here. So we talked about the fish can use the variety of depths on the bottom on these points from a foot down to 60 feet. And then you also have some fish that will be suspended on the same point, anywhere between 10 to 20, 30 foot of water. And if you've got say if you've got deep timber in 40, 60, 80 foot of water, some of those bass may be suspended in the tops of those trees, 50, 60 foot underwater. And then you may have some bass that are feeding on the surface, schooling. So you can see why it's a little bit tougher. Is you have these bass that are all over and they're moving based upon a lot of different variables. It can be like I said, the light intensity, the sky condition, the wind, the time of day, really scattered out. So you may have some fish, say, all over that main lake point, yet at the same time, if you go into the nearest creek nearby, you might be able to run to the very back of that creek and get in a foot or two of water and start catching some fish around stumps. You may hit a few secondary points in that creek. There may be some fish just in whatever docks or covers available. Bass are just really scattered out this time of year. That's why it makes it so difficult to be consistent. And also, another thing is the bigger fish are really difficult to catch in October. I'm not really sure where a lot of these bigger fish go. I sort of suspect that they get out in deeper open water and suspend and roam around. Like I said, this time of year, it's next to impossible to beat anybody that's live scoping in October, simply because they can key on those roamers that are out there. So here's a couple things I would suggest with that for catching them this time of year. You have to focus, like I said, obviously it depends on the lake, but you have to focus on your strength as an angler. If you want to target shallow fish, which I like to do a lot in October, one of the best ways you can do it is just run to the extremities of all the major creek arms or the river arms. Try to find the most off-colored water that you can. Fish whatever covers available. It could be docks, it could be shallow grass, it could be laydowns, it could be rocks, rock transitions, whatever like that. But look for that dirtier water, because there's going to be a population of bass in that area there. The next thing you can do is you can also duplicate that shallow water pattern in the clear parts of the lake, like the lower to mid end of the lake. This is a great time of year to put like on a buzzbait or walk in topwater and just burn the bank covering water. They will bite. There will be a population of shallow fish even on bright sunny days in clear water in October. Now they're scattered. It's not like you're going to catch a bunch of them, but if you just commit to topwater and cover water, there's a good chance that you're going to pick up some quality fish. And then finally, for you guys that like deep fish, I mean, you can catch them dragging a football head jig deeper on the points, down 25, 40 foot of water. Obviously, all you live scopers out there can get around and have at it at the end of those deeper points and out in the middle of the creeks, looking for those deeper shad roamers. So a lot of it just depends on how you like to fish. But overall, like I said, October is a super tough month to fish. Fish are really scattered. As that water temperature starts to get down, say like into the 50s into November, those fish start to group up a little bit more in wolf packs. They start to have fewer options, and it starts to get a little bit better fishing. So anyway, I hope that made sense, guys. Hope it makes you catch a few more, and we'll talk to y'all later. See you.